You did everything right. You went to school. You got the degree. You found a job. You started saving money. And you were told that if you worked hard enough, one day you'd own a home, a small backyard, a driveway, a place that's actually yours. The American dream. But for millions of Gen Z Americans, that dream feels further away than ever. Home prices keep climbing. Rent keeps rising. And every year, it feels like the finish line moves even farther away. So here's the question. If Gen Z is more educated than previous generations, why are so many struggling to buy a house? The answer isn't laziness, it's not avocado toast. And it's definitely not because young people don't work hard. The real answer is hidden inside the housing market itself. And once you see it, you'll never look at homeownership the same way again. A few decades ago, buying a home looked very different. In the 1980s and 1990s, many families could buy a home with a single income. One parent worked, the other stayed home. And somehow, they still managed to buy a house. Today, that sounds almost unbelievable. But back then, the relationship between income and housing prices was very different. Homes were expensive, but they weren't completely disconnected from wages. As workers earned more money, buying a house still felt possible. Then something changed. Actually, a lot of things changed. House prices started rising faster than incomes, year after year, decade after decade. Imagine running a race. Now imagine the finish line moves farther away every time you get closer. That's what happened to many young buyers. The harder they ran, the further the goal seemed to move. And housing wasn't the only thing becoming more expensive. College costs increased. Healthcare costs increased. Everyday expenses increased. Many young adults graduated with student debt. Thousands of dollars. Sometimes tens of thousands. Some even owed hundreds of thousands. Before they could save for a home, they had to pay for their education. And debt changes everything. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water, but there's a hole at the bottom. That's what debt feels like. Money comes in, money goes out, and building savings becomes much harder. Then came another challenge: investors, large investment firms, private equity groups, cash buyers. These buyers entered the housing market with huge advantages. Imagine you're trying to buy your first bicycle. You saved for years. You finally have enough money. Then someone shows up with 10 times more cash. Who do you think wins? That's what many first-time homebuyers are facing. When investors can pay cash, they often move faster than regular families. And in many areas, that pushes prices even higher. But we're still not done. Because then came interest rates. Most people don't buy homes with cash. They use mortgages. And mortgage payments depend heavily on interest rates. Here's where things get tricky. Let's say a house costs exactly the same. The price doesn't change, but interest rates rise. Suddenly, the monthly payment becomes much larger. The house didn't get more expensive, yet somehow, it became less affordable. That's the strange reality of the housing market. Many buyers don't shop based on price. They shop based on monthly payments. And when rates rise, those payments can become overwhelming. Now add another problem. There simply aren't enough homes. For years, many cities didn't build enough housing. Meanwhile, the population kept growing. More people, more families, more buyers, but not enough new homes. And whenever lots of people want something that is in short supply, prices usually go up. It's basic economics. Too many buyers, too few houses, higher prices. At this point, it sounds pretty hopeless. Higher prices, higher debt, higher interest rates, more competition, less affordability. So is the American dream dead? Not exactly. And this is where the story gets interesting. Because not every Gen Z story ends the same way. Some people see these challenges and give up completely. They assume homeownership is impossible. They stop trying, but others adapt. They learn the new rules. Some move to more affordable cities. Some increase their income through new skills. Some delay buying for a few years. Some buy smaller starter homes. Some save more aggressively. And some find creative ways to enter the market. The biggest difference isn't luck, it's understanding. Because the housing market today is not the housing market your parents experienced. The rules changed, the economy changed, the prices changed, and the people who adapt to those changes often put themselves in a much stronger position. Think about it like a map. If the road changes, but you're still using an old map, you'll probably get lost. That's exactly what's happening to many people. They're following advice designed for a completely different economy, an economy that no longer exists. Now let's answer the big question. Will Gen Z never be able to afford a home? No, that's not true. Many Gen Z Americans will eventually buy homes, but the path may look very different than it did for previous generations. It may take longer. It may require different strategies. It may require moving to different locations. And it may require adapting to a new economic reality. The dream isn't dead. It's just harder. And understanding why it's harder gives you a huge advantage. Because once you understand the forces pushing prices higher, you can make better decisions. You stop blaming yourself. And you start understanding the system. The truth is, most people don't lose because they're lazy. Most people lose because they're playing a new game with old rules. And that's a dangerous mistake. The housing market has changed. The economy has changed. The world has changed. The people who recognize that reality are usually the ones who move forward. Because the people who understand the game usually play it better. And the people who play it better usually win. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Finance Bro, because understanding money
could be the most valuable investment you ever make.